say that if I was to speak to any of you outside or having a coffee later on, you'll probably talk to me about about a business challenge that you're having every day, which is that privacy policy and regulatory changes have materially impacted your business over the last 2 years. You'll probably tell me that costs are rising, performance is declining, and that it's even more difficult to measure your ad performance. You'll probably say to me, what do I need to do to become more competitive? What do I need to do to regain competitive advantage? And I'll probably talk to you about 4 key levers. I'll talk to you about the importance of creative diversification and I'll probably say to you about the importance of campaign liquidity and automation. I'll probably talk to you about optimizing your scan campaigns and your conversion schema. And I'll probably talk to you about the importance of measurement and investing in reporting and measurement. And that's what we're going to talk to you about today, measurement. So why you should invest in measurement for your long-term growth of your campaigns, because what we had in the past is no longer going to be viable for the future due to these privacy and policy changes. And with me today, I have Anna Groger, from a marketing science partner from our MIA gaming team, and myself, Sue Howley. I'm a manager on our mid-market sales team. So let's calibrate in on the facts. So the ecosystem has changed materially, and what was true 2 years ago is no longer true today. And marketers need to start leaning into new measurement strategies and approaches in order to adapt. We know that attribution alone is no longer enough. Marketers need to start looking at alternative approaches like experiments and marketing mixed modeling. We know that in order for you to drive business outcomes and to get more profitability on our platforms, we need to think about incremental methods and really hone in on the right metrics that you want as your business goals. And we know that there's no longer a silver bullet. We cannot lean on attribution alone anymore. Advertisers need to find a balance between attribution, experiments, and media mix modeling. Now, let's take a step back and refresh ourselves on why we're experiencing these changes. So understandably, people started questioning how their data was being used on the internet. So because of that, there's been regulatory policy changes alongside. So regulatory changes such as GDPR here in Europe or CPA in California. The industry is also evolving. So Google are expected to phase out cookies as early as 2023, and we know all the changes around iOS 14.5 that Apple introduced. So all of these things, the ecosystem has changed, and we need to adapt and evolve with that. And we can see the impact of this when we look at this quote from AppsFlyer. So this is from AppsFlyer's State of Gaming App Marketing Report, which they launched in April of this year. They said that limited data post-ATT has led to a 6% drop in the number of total gaming app installs on iOS and a 35% drop in revenue. This is significant and stark, and it is impacting all of you day in and day out. So let's calibrate in and zone in on what we do know. We do know that user-level data is gone. So that doesn't exist anymore. So we need to find alternative approaches to measure our campaigns long term. But we also know that people are still downloading apps. They're still playing games. They're still watching ads. They're still making in-app purchases. They're still there. But it's more difficult to attribute ads to direct business outcomes. So we need to find alternative approaches. And we know that it's important for all of you to be measuring the true impact of your goals. So in order to do that, we need to think of approaches outside of just attribution as your single source. So attribution alone is no longer enough. If we just focus on attribution on its own, you're leaving money on the table, and you're not measuring your campaigns effectively, and we cannot stress this enough. We need to start thinking about how we evolve your strategy into the future. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass over to Anna now, and Anna's going to talk to you a little bit about different approaches that we can use so that you can measure your business strategies and outcomes more holistically.
Thank you, Sue. So, as part of my work, I get to speak with many gaming advertisers. And I think it is clear by now to all of us that the way we used to measure our marketing activities is no longer enough. And we need to open our minds to new things. So let's see what we have out there. First is marketing mix modeling. But what is it exactly? MMM is a privacy-friendly and highly resilient technique. And one of the reasons we're talking about it so loudly is that the usage and application of it will be remained unchanged with future changes. No matter in what business you are and what individual circumstances you have, it enables you to have the visibility on marketing performance next month or even next year. It gives a view on incremental measurement across all channels and is highly actionable with forecasting and simulations to add and planning. It can be grounded in the source of truth using experiments to calibrate it and build trust and integrate it into your measurement stack. Historically, the usage of attribution and MMM was quite divergent. They each had its strengths, and with attribution offering real-time automated view and performance at a very granular level, MMM offering cross-channel incremental measurement that could inform media mix. Now we're seeing a blending of these two techniques into contemporary MMM, driven in part by shifting advertising landscape. We see this new MMM offering the best of two worlds. It is highly automated and faster, and can build a granular level and calibrate it with experiments to increase accuracy. By combining the benefits of MMM and multi-touch attribution and advanced machine learning methods, the latest versions of MMM can be always on for outputs and balance of tactical and strategic decisions. Now let's look at experiments. It remains to be the most recommended method to measure true incremental value of isolated activity by leveraging test and control groups. On Meta's platforms, the options of experimentation are conversion lift, geo-lift, and private lift. And also, these methods required a very detailed design, including clear business question and business assignment. Our research proves that experimentation includes to be the driver of growth, with 30% higher ad performance was achieved by running 15 experiments or more versus having none. So good measurement should be about understanding the true business value of marketing by using incremental measurement as your North Star. But today, good measurement also be privacy cautious. By marrying these two principles, it can guide you in building measurement strategy that can evolve with the advertisement ecosystem while consistently driving better decision-making. So we've spoken about incrementality, and now let's say with the privacy, and let's talk about the combination of both. And we believe that incrementality is the basis of good measurement. Incrementality is the degree to which a measurement method can estimate the true causal effect of isolated marketing activity, for example, an ad. Because it looks at how much value came specifically from ads, the conversions that happened because of the ad, marketeers can use it to understand the true return on investment their ads drive. Incrementality measurement using experiments can calculate the lift in ad performance by comparing differences of outcomes between a group of people shown the ad against a comparable group of people that were not shown the ad. And let's have a look at the example on the right here. The green area indicates conversions that happened from people who didn't see the ad. The dark blue overlap indicates conversions that came from people who did see the ad, but would have converted anyway. And those in the light blue are the ones that happened, and they're directly correlated with seeing the ad. But why all of that is important, and how is measuring incrementality any different than rule-based attribution or last-touch attribution? In short, incremental measurement can give you more insight into how your ads impact people behavior. In this example, if we look at last click results of retargeting campaign on the left, the green bar, and compare it against the user acquisition campaign, the pink bar on the, the green on the left and the pink on the right, the retargeting campaign would have seen as a winning strategy because there are a higher number of purchases that are attributed to it. But when we look again at the same campaign using experiments to measure incrementality, it paints a different picture. By separating out the purchases due to advertising from those purchases that would have happened anyway, we see that the user acquisition end is the winner. And knowing that can lead to different decisions being made when it comes to budget allocation or marketing strategy. So we know by now that following one of the biggest changes ecosystem of advertisement has gone through, measurement must evolve too. But how to put it all in motion? So we suggest to start small. The change in our mindset that needs to be done is huge, and we cannot expect it to be done at once. Learnings that might seem small at first are the ones to build the bigger picture later. Every step will reveal more opportunities, so leverage those opportunities to improve your measurement strategy. If there's one word to describe it all, it is progress. There's no point of looking for perfection because you may never find it. With every step you take, there are new opportunities and solutions that come along, and don't be afraid to try them on. With every step, remember to reevaluate and update your strategy. So let's review the main methods and what each of them can offer. First is experiments. So while user-level data is degrading over time, the gold standard of incremental measurement is still possible through experiments. The experimental method can be different, but it can be done by using approaches like private lift or geo-lift or otherwise. Experimentation is still possible and should remain core to measuring true value for gaming companies. This approach is the closest an advertiser can get to measure the true incremental value. Second option is MMM. So this is something that is probably new to most of gaming advertisers, and it attempts to estimate the incremental impact of marketing and non-marketing activities, and it is also built to consider the complexities of performance, including media synergies, attention saturation, organic localization, seasonality, and promotions. It is important to consider that each media source doesn't hold equal weight when contributing to performance. This targeted audience can already be completely saturated by other paid media channels or existing organic demand. With MMM, these media sources can be identified, and as such, non-incremental media could be completely removed with no any reduction to overall up metrics. And last is attribution. So while not providing the same level of insight as in past, it is important to recognize this will still serve a valuable purpose for gaming advertisers. Last Touch had its flaws, but it has served mobile gaming very well. The picture it now provides is not complete, but it still gives a real-time view on performance, and mobile measurement partners are not going anywhere. They have long since been considered the sources of truth for mobile gaming, but they are too adapting to the constraints of attribution, and a number of MMPs are developing their proposition to include incremental measurement and MMM. So now let's look at the three options and evaluate it against each other, and also some key factors. So they each have their own strengths that don't exist in the other, and each of them can deliver real value to gaming advertisers. None of them is perfect, but they all are very useful. Experiments, they're not quick and usually focus on a single channel at a time and demands excellent planning and execution. But the payoff is in offering the gold standard of accuracy and incrementality to inform truly impactful and important strategic business decisions. Second is MMM. So it delivers incremental measurement looking at the full suite of marketing channels, and due to the aggregate methodology, it is resilient to any further ecosystem changes. And if we think about attribution, it is incredibly detailed and granular. While it may lag behind other approaches in terms of accuracy, it does offer real-time view of performance across all digital platforms, and this is not something we can see elsewhere. So how does it all fit together, you ask? The answer is there is a place for all three pillars, from modeling to attribution to experiments. It is about knowing when to use each of them and how they can complement each other that matters. A measurement stack for gaming advertisers without any of these elements is not set up for success, and a more grounded route, more rounded view should be the goal. Prepare to reevaluate these techniques. As data continues to degrade, the balance can swing more towards modeling from where it is today. And remember, you can also utilize the familiar techniques under the new constraints. Measuring incremental value of similar audiences and comparing that to the attributed values as are seen on MMPs is a well-known method. Advertisers can expand the use of that to several media channels and run tests to evaluate incremental value of each. That will allow evaluation and comparison of incremental values from each channel. That will also help to determine where to invest the next dollar. By the same way, advertisers can also evaluate different media strategies within each channel. So, knowing everything you know by now, how can you build a sustainable measurement strategy? First is explore different approaches. Assess the impact of new solutions, not instead of, but on top of the measurement approaches you currently use. Remember, there's no single source of truth anymore. You can leverage multiple approaches to give more data when making decisions. Current approaches have more gaps than they had before, so supplementing them with something new now makes sense. And third, keep reevaluating techniques as they continue to evolve. With new challenges in the industry comes innovation. MMM that was familiar to CPG advertisers is not the MMM being leveraged by the sophisticated gaming ones. It is changing to keep up with the demands and of the new industries, so keep tracking the progress. And remember, there's no silver bullet. A mix of approaches and solutions is what will help you make the most informed decisions on budget, strategy, and tactics. Now I would like to show you a case study that we did in gaming, in Facebook gaming, with advertisers that embraced a unified measurement standard in a privacy-first world. So Flow, FVR, GameReach, Gaminator, and Blue Casino are all gaming developers headquartered in North America, and they have delighted and entertained many consumers in the gaming industry. The revenue stream is dependent on advertising that is monetized through a combination of in-app ads and in-app purchases. And this makes accurate measurement of both in-channel and cross-channel activity absolutely vital for their businesses. Like many gaming advertisers, these developers had seen a decrease in attributed downloads and conversions due to Apple iOS 14.5 policy changes. Greater scrutiny was placed on their last-touch attribution models, and their experience discrepancies led them to place increasing doubt on source of truth. They believed that their marketing effort on Meta and other platforms still drove business outcomes, but the erosion of user-level data had made it more challenging to measure marketing influence and therefore make marketing dollar allocation decisions much more difficult. It became apparent to these advertisers that they must learn to adapt to this new reality with more changes in the horizon, ensuring measurement resilience for advertising privacy-centric future. And what they did is to take the opportunity and innovate and build for the future, adopting open source techniques. The Meta developed Project Robin and GeoLift to form a unified view of marketing performance. All of these tools are useful and all give a level of detail that is not available in the other, but can often be taken silo. These advertisers recognized that the sensible next step was to find a way to complement these methods to give the most complete picture of marketing performance, a unified ground source of truth for marketing in a privacy-first world. All 5 of them achieved remarkable results. We're talking about 47% higher incremental ROAS driven by marketing on Meta. After 5 weeks of model construction through Robin and the collaboration using GeoLift, following a workshop on Meta, all 5 advertisers have adopted and adapted these tools internally to inform a unified measurement arsenal, enabling them to access advanced, privacy-safe, and efficient marketing effectiveness analytics in the context of this ever-evolving marketing advertising ecosystem. So we've spoken about the 3 different measurement approaches, each with their distinct strengths. These methods don't have to be in competition to each other. We're not suggesting that the gaming advertisers choose just one approach only, but examine how they can fit together into a cohesive measurement stack. That will give a unified view on performance and will use the most comprehensive methods available. Leveraging each of their strengths with each feeding the other will help gaming advertisers to adjust marketing strategies and drive growth. So let's start with attribution. Attribution can feed experimentation and modeling excellently. Based on attribution, you can develop hypotheses and later test them with ground truth methodology, which is experimentation. On the other hand, attribution also results can define cohorts ingested for modeling future KPIs, PROAS or PLTV. Experimentation, the gold standard of methodology, is to validate attribution results. In addition, experiments can also be used to calibrate models and ensure these models are aligned with ground truth. And modeling, of course. So modeled results are used to develop hypotheses that are later tested with ground truth methodology. Any gaps left by attribution, such as data about opt-outs, cross-publisher, and self-attributed networks, and also non-media channels and impacts, are to be filled by MMM. So the next slide will probably be kind of messy, but when you give it a second look, it really just puts together everything we just spoke about. It illustrates an ecosystem of measurement and different approaches that work together instead of working against each other. And I probably did not say it loud enough, but so again, there's no silver bullet. Advertisers who find their own right balance of available and useful methodologies will be best positioned for success. Singular spoke about IDFA challenges being the biggest change to mobile marketing in a decade. We're all experiencing that. They also highlighted that when these big shifts occur, the speed at which advertisers adapt is key to their success. And we know that's what gaming advertisers will continue to do. You're all known for your data-driven approach and will push through all of these changes, finding a balance of measurement solutions that work for you, and more importantly, will continue to work for you in the future. So, in light of all these challenges, how can you position yourself for success? Measurement, it remains to be key to evaluating actual performance and the basis of effective decision-making. However, now, no one measurement tool can address all needs. The lines between what each tool should or can be used for are blurred, and in many cases, there is also an overlap. So it is key to remember that your chosen method should support your business goal. For every question, work down your measurement stack to see where the most well-informed answer can be found within whatever constraints you're working, from experiments to modeling to attribution, and be flexible and ready to adapt to future changes when they happen. If you build an adaptable measurement strategy that is ready to evolve, this is how you will find the right balance for your optimal solution. With all the instability in the last few years, with the rolling platforms and regulatory changes, all of that is impacting the ways we work. And we're basically in an inflection point right now. We need to take time to invest and prepare for how we do things in the future. Adapt and evolve. What we do right now will help us thrive in the future. And finally, we encourage you to go back to your teams and ask them just one question. Out of those conversions that you see right now, how many of them would have happened anyway? And let's see if there's an answer for that. Thank you.